lot's changed over there since it's not home of economy anymore.
No.
Monitors or whatever. Everything's going bigger, whether you want it to or not.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's got the big national chain, whether you want it or not.
They're the only ones that have financial backing to survive.
I don't know, Jeff.
And the other ones seem like they can survive.
I don't know.
With all the distance learning stuff, I wonder how long it'll be until they say everything will be distant learning and you won't show up at all for school.
I don't think it's a good idea. I really don't.
I could see them doing it to save a buttload of money.
Right.
Because if you just had a couple teachers, or even just one teacher, and it's like distant learning, and they only have to go to like well, shoot, the teachers technically wouldn't even have to leave home either.
The problem is with that is you don't have the relationships and team.
Yeah,
learn how to get along with each other and work as a team and all the rest of that. That's good. Now they used to do the stuff where they had the meetings, and they would bring in, sometimes only audio, but usually audio and visual. And they would meet. We would have a team meeting, and they would set it up that way. We had 2 or 3 people that work at home, and in that case, it was good for them. It was good for the company, but they had to have an agreement. If we call, you got to go online. You know, one of the centers went down or something like that. But that did save them a lot of money. By not having to drive back and forth to work. But when I had trouble on something, a lot of times you need the person to come over and lean over your shoulder and explain it to you, or work it in front of you.
And for special needs, that would be preferred.
Not just special needs, anybody. You're doing complicated procedures. You can tell me how to do it on the phone, but that's not the same as having
They were talking about it because they were talking about this kind of like the remote areas of like Montana and Alaska and
Northern Canada.
They're all going to like a distant learning type thing.
Yeah. Well, they did that years ago by radio. It's the way they used to do it. Like short wave type of thing, or sideband or something like that. They would do that. And Minot State had a thing like that years ago where they would send it, I don't know, through SRT or whatever, probably. But they could have it. There was people in the classroom, but there was also, so the teacher gets immediate feedback. Well, now, based on what we saw yesterday at the county building, with that conference with John Paul Martin running it from down there, and him seeing us seeing him being able to send emails into the system, because we were simulating a leak down here on the east of Minot on the railroad tracks, and he set it all up and everything. It was quite interesting to calculate the plume based on the weather conditions. He said, but the machine, the problem, I asked a question, I said, what happens in real-time data if things start changing? He said, that is a great question. I went, okay, good. And he said, well, no, they have. He said, this thing is so sophisticated, you could put almost everything in the world in. But as soon as you go beyond the basic model, it wants to know absolutely everything. And then that complicates it toward the fact you can't get the data. They need an in-between option, This is the basic idea. We know this is anhydrous, but as soon as you go past that basic, then it wants 500 questions answered. Then it can be more accurate. But what it does is it bases projections on the forecast of weather. And so it makes assumptions. And that's fine. Except
based
that
on all the data points and all the stations and all the data that's coming in.
We've got it out. He said, and the forecasted Alberta Clipper is going to be here at this time, and it's early or it's late. Well, you have to completely rebuild it. It can't adjust to the changing conditions constantly.
Well, it could.
At this time.
There is a weather model that does that. It's called the High Resolution Rapid Refresh.
This was something else. This is Sky. It's on my form. I forget what it was.
And it kind of takes all the models and does rapid refreshes every hour.
Yeah.
Or 30 minutes or something. So.
Depending on how much money you want to spend.
It takes in all the weather station data across the country and other places. It takes into all the radar data. It takes into all the satellite data and converts it into a model. And it's like it goes every hour based and for like a 6 to 8 hour forecast window.
The way we used to do it is figure out what direction the wind's blowing and figure out where it's at, and based on that you have a 2,000 foot cordon. Or 2 miles by 5 miles by what I forget, it was 2 by 2 by 2 by 5 or something like that. But this was a pretty interesting model. But the fire department has something like that, which you might have familiarization with or not. I don't know. But this was a pretty interesting machine. But he said he's got a whole bunch of stuff to do before he retires.
Oh yeah.
So he didn't have to drive. He didn't have to drive all the way up here to give his class.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the way the future Skywalker.
Yeah, I think that. Well, they've already kind of do that too.
Yeah.
Well, it saves them gas and
time.
It doesn't really great for interactions, but you know.
Actually,
like some of those places where they have to do the Skywalker things and they only have like 10 people show up.
Yeah,
it makes not a lot of sense to drive all the way there.
Well, then you go to the nearest bigger city in that area and you have everybody trying to go there if they can. But you know, the idea that they could put it in a can and send it out, it's not as good, but it is good. You back it up and run it forward. All the rest of that. Well, it looks like a bunch of people showed up today.
Yeah.
Can we squeeze in between him and him? I'm not so sure.
No.
I'm going to say no. Let's see how dumb I can be. Pretty dumb. Okay. Well, there's a lot of folks here.
Yeah. I wonder if there's testing.
Not that I'm aware of.
Watch the truck.
I seen the truck, but thank you. Doo-doo for computers again.
You guys should be okay. But eventually I don't know if your computer will upgrade to it or not. I think Mom's has 11 on it, I think. Her newer one, I think, has it,
Unfortunately, everything.
But yeah, come next November.
It still should be safe for
a little while, yeah.
For doing.
They won't be getting.
Yeah.
Won't be getting too many security updates. Although some people were already saying that they really had the issues before with this with Windows 7. People wouldn't get off it when they upgraded. So Microsoft had to end up supporting it a little bit longer.
Oh yeah.
And they still haven't have the adoption rates they wanted for 11. So
nobody wants it.
Well, the thing a lot of people believe the lies that they issued at the time, where this would be the last operating system you'd ever need. And it has been good for last, say 10 years or so. Oh yeah, at least 10 years or so.
I'm just saying 10 or 7, or which one are we talking
10.
about?
10, which has been good for like the last 10 years, really. Or so. I can't remember exactly the day it came out, but it's been, been a while. Whenever Windows 10 came out, they've had so many updates to it. I mean, really a lot of people think that 11 is just like a new polish they put over 10, which I guess in a sense it really is. If you want to just go down to basics, it basically is. There isn't a lot of real differences in the real hardware of it. There isn't really a lot of differences between 10 and 11, except there's new stupid security requirements.
Well, like with
but Microsoft said they ain't gonna negotiate about having a lot of it is a problem with this new TPM 2.0 chip that's in the CPUs. And they could easily remove it, and there's bypass ways to do it, to get around it, but they said Microsoft's saying they've disabled a lot of these bypass options to bypass it. But when you bypass it, you can get Windows 11 to install on much older hardware systems.
Which is fine, but no.
Which means it could, if they drop the requirement, to be installed.
It would work just fine.
It would work just fine, and everybody's computer would be updated, and blah, blah, blah. But they don't want to do that because...
To make more money by doing it this way?
Well, I wonder if technically that's part of the reason, but they claim it's the security nature. Well, if everybody was upgraded to Windows 11, they'd already have the security update, so they updated operating system.
I don't know.
Would it be as secure as they want it to be? Maybe not, but it would be more secure than leaving everybody on Windows 10 with no updates future.
Yes.
But honestly, if you've gotten a computer within the last 3-4 years, you should already have Windows 11 on it.
Well, I've got 10 on mine.
Yes. I know. I will not upgrade to Windows 11 until I absolutely have to. Because I hate the way Windows 10, or excuse me, Windows 11 went. And they're trying to do like Google.
No,
where you have to sign into their store and their operating system. I know there are some workarounds for that, but it's more pain in the butt than it should be. But they want you using their store and their stuff, and their, well, yes, then you can buy stuff off their store.
Yeah.
Instead of not.
Yes.
But it's kind of a nightmare type thing. It's like, why? If they didn't have a requirement where you had to log into a freaking Microsoft account to install the operating system and get it running, if they put it to an optional thing, like, okay, once you have the operating system installed and all whatever, if you want to use their store, then you'll get a login, use it, and not be required.
I don't know.
But they make this requirement thing. Well, you can get
house here.
It's probably a shed, actually.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's a garage.
But yeah, garage. But since they make these stupid requirements, I'm kind of preaching to the choir on that one. But everybody on YouTube land probably knows this. But there are workarounds you can get around it. But it'd just be nice if it was out of the box, and then if you want to use Microsoft Store, it'd be optional. They want to force this crap on you. And some people probably don't really care. Like, oh yeah, the Microsoft Store is all good and everything. Well, yeah, that's fine. It's fine. It's like Google. You have to sign in and use the Google Store to do anything on your Google stuff. Yeah. But I don't want to.
I know. I don't want to.
Now, yes, for the Google Play Store and Android, that's fine. It's fine, but it's free and it's easy to do an update or something. But I don't want to have 16 million accounts now for just to use the computer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, can I just use my Google account to log in to my Microsoft? Mm-hmm. No, you must use Microsoft's account, and Microsoft's blah blah blah, and only download stuff off the Microsoft Store.
The trouble with that is not everybody does stuff.
Well, nobody wants it either.
Right.
The time is 12 p.m.
I don't want to have to remember another password that I really don't want to use.
Exactly.
Enough of those that you have to remember.
Yep.
Well, you just get a password manager that does all your passwords for you until it gets hacked, and then all your passwords are hacked.
Yep.
Well, but that never happens. Well, yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
One pass got hacked.
We used to have to change ours at work every so often.
One pass, I think, got hacked a couple times, and everybody lost everything.
We had several layers of authentication to go through, and it watched.
Yeah.
If you weren't there, it shut everything down, locked everything down. You had to go back in and fight with it. They didn't want somebody walking by your while you're at lunch or something, gave you access. But the only people in there were people that were either under escort or people that worked there.
Yeah.
Sure, they had problems somewhere.
Oh, it's so easy to hack somebody's stuff now.
I just want the silly stuff to work. That's all I want. Don't make it any more complicated because I can't handle it now.
I love how they talked about how the phone systems really work.
I don't know.
And how the hackers can really get into this stuff. It's like,
I don't know.
oh, damn. It was like, so nothing's really secure on the phones.
Unless it's not connected to anything.
No, they can still get into it even if all the stuff is turned off.
No, I'm saying as long as you don't connect to the internet, you put it in a metal box and ground it.
They still might be able to get into it.
I don't see how.
Because even if you turn all the sensors and all the little transmitter thingies off that you're able to turn off, there is still a little feed going back to somewhere.
How? If there's not connected to the internet?
Because they have
an AC line or something?
No, what they have is they use a some of these modern phones, because I was watching.
Oh, on the phones.
I was watching how this ex-CIA guy was talking about all the stuff that's embedded in your phones, really embedded in your phones.
Stuff, yeah.
And even if your cell data is turned off, and your Wi-Fi is turned off, and you have all the sensors thingies turned off, it's still sending something back to the stinking tower.
So it's always tracking you.
So it's like a little phone receiver within the phone receiver that's transmitting out some data.
Even when it's turned off?
So even if it's turned off.
Wow. It's not
and it's always listening, even when the phone is turned off.
And on the new phones, you can't pull the battery.
And they were talking about they were doing this 15 years ago with cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
It's always listening.
Nice.
And it's always sending something back to some server somewhere.
Wonderful.
Even if the unit is turned. They were even talking back when the day when you pull your battery out of your phone. Well, apparently there's another battery that's in there for like the BIOS or something of the phone or something, a little teeny thing. Well, it's recording and sending back data using that battery. I'm like, and this they were talking to a CIA guy who'd been tech things. He said, yeah, we've been doing this for 20 years with cell phones.
Wow.
And all this stuff's built into the phones because it has to keep the BIOS of the phone. Well, they can tap a little bit of data off. They can tap a little bit of the power off that thing, off that battery. But that battery charges every time you turn your phone back on, or you insert the battery in your phone. And it doesn't take too much, and they don't have to use very much of it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
But I was like, damn. And they were talking that 20 years ago they were doing this. So like, and you know, all the phones have gotten more sophisticated ways since then now. So I don't know. You have to put your phone in a Faraday cage or something, or a Faraday bag or something.
Yeah, I suppose.
I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to get around that too. Well, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if they have found ways around Faraday bags. Honestly.
Is that guy parked there or waiting for somebody or what?
No idea.
Don't know. With the door wide open.
But I wouldn't be surprised these days that they had some way of doing it. Found a different frequency that goes around the Faraday bags or something. I don't know. Who knows?
Somebody finally got out of Jennifer's parking spot.
Nope, they are still parking there. That little black car is parked there. But I was loving how the guy was talking about at the hacker conference. He says, if you go to the hacker conference now, you better disable all your sensors on your phone, disable your Wi-Fi, disable your mobile data, put the phone in like maintenance mode, then turn it off, put it in 2 Faraday bags, put 1 Faraday bag and then you put another Faraday bag, and you never use it at the hacker conferences because they can get into it.
I suppose.
You must turn it off.
Yeah, it's.
I was like, damn.
It's not.
And he says even the most sophisticated, newest, they had when they were talking at one of the hacker DEF CON conferences recently, and they had 2 what they were considered the most advanced. Oh, they had an Apple phone, the latest Apple phone with all the updates and everything, and they had the latest Samsung phone with all the updates on it. Then they had like one of these BlackBerry ones, which is supposed to be ultra secure. They disabled everything on the phone, like everything you could physically send a signal out that they know of, and they had the engineers of the companies there, and they had them walking around the conference floor of this thing. And the challenge was for 2 of these elite hacking groups to get into the phones while they're all safed and everything, and in their people's pockets and everything, never going off their person, never getting directly connected to anything or swiped or anything else. To input a text message when that phone starts up, it gets a text message that says, "Hi, you've been hacked." Guess what? All 3 of them were hacked in less than 5 minutes.
I don't know how.
Apparently, some of the hacking groups did. They put a special number saying that this group had been hacked. This group hacked this one. Well, one group hacked all 3 of them. Put another message under all their messages, and then they won. So they won like $50,000, and then they went and told the engineers how they got into the phones.
Yeah, so they can build something against.
Well, it was like, this is the security you guys are using, but it's not that very good. But in about 5 minutes, all of them, the newest of the new generation phones, like the S24 Ultra, it was like the iPhone 15 Max at the time, and then whatever the newest BlackBerry was. But these are considered some of the latest and safest with all the updates phones. And all these using different operating systems. So one's using Androids, one using Apple, one's using BlackBerries. In about 5 minutes, all the phones. That's just amazing, isn't it? I didn't figure what the government could do, or one of these foreign countries could.
I don't know.
When you're walking around with your phone,
I don't know.
Online.
Good news is I'm not important enough to breathe.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they were giving people hints of the way you can do this to your phone to mitigate, this and that, and I mean it won't protect you from us, but from the average normal person out there, this is how you kind of protect yourself within reason. So you don't install weird apps. You don't accept emails from weird people, because all they have to do is install a little piece of code in the background. Even if you uninstall the app later, then you have a backdoor in your phone. It's not how these guys got in, but it was really very surprising. Now, of course, they knew that these people and their targets on their phone, but they got into these phones among all the people that were in the show floors that had all the different cell phones, which had to just be a nightmare with the amount of signals that were flowing back and forth.
I suppose I didn't even think about that.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, they said that one hacker group guy says If you don't want your phone hacked at this convention, don't bring it.
Leave it in the car.
Leave it at home. Don't even show up with this thing.
Yeah. Sticking it down south, I guess.
Well, you know, one guy says, well, if you want to bring your phone and you want to keep it secure, you can disassemble it.
Not easy to do with the new phones.
Not easy. It can be done, but yeah, it's not very easy.
I'm not going to do it.
No, the average person probably wouldn't know.
No.
But you watch some of these YouTube videos where they literally disable the phone to show all the little individual components.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, taking out the equivalent of the motherboard would probably turn this thing off.
Permanently.
Yeah, until you reassemble it. Unless you screw up, then you're screwed.